always saw the law as the tool of the oppressor. You might want to tell people some of the events that happened to you that led you to that conclusion.
Yeah, I don't think every lawyer is a tool of oppression, but I think you sort of have to be paying attention not to be. Growing up, my parents, no education, no savings, no nothing, no belief. I was a little kid during the Civil Rights Movement, and my parents had the wherewithal to move north to escape the oppression of Mississippi and Tennessee and sharecropping in the 30s and 40s, but they didn't aspire to more than that. They didn't say, we shall overcome and we're going to join the marches and our kids can do anything. They didn't think that. They thought, get a job, hold on to it for dear life, and whoa, if you all could just get office jobs, what a wonderful world. So I wasn't raised to question anything. And we were pawns to whatever vagaries of the police. I remember going down south, my father would get pulled over and that sort of thing. We were pawns. And then as I got a little older and started to come face to face myself with the legal system, I couldn't believe how obviously skewed it was. I had a car accident when I was 18 or 19 that was completely not my fault. Some guy ran a light, ran into me. My car was totaled, and he pushed me into the lane, and my car hit another car. So none of this was my fault. My car was totaled. Nice little girl that I am. I was like, oh, well, all's well that ends well. No, an insurance company that insured the guy that I was pushed into sues me, and it's going to make me pay for the other guy's car. And they thought it was completely beside the fact that it wasn't my fault. They're, oh, we know it's not your fault, but legally. Well, how could that be legal and moral? Well, obviously it's not moral. And when you know it's not my fault and you say that's not the point. And so I had grown up with this notion of lawyers as heroes. Atticus Finch was one of my heroes. Thurgood Marshall, all that was in the back of my mind. Right. And now I realize that those lawyers are the exception. These are not. And these were lawyers screaming at a little poor black kid. And we ended up having to borrow thousands of dollars to pay that off. Now, if I'd had access to a lawyer, they were probably lying, but it was terrible. But these people did this for a living, and I was so demoralized by that. I had grown up thinking in the back of my mind when I was feeling confident, I want to be a lawyer someday. But when this happened, I said, absolutely not. I will not be a lawyer. It's the same. It's a horrible thing. So, and I didn't know all the different kinds of lawyers there were. And so a few more years go by, and again, it was a car. I bought a brand new car from Chrysler that never ran. It did not run.
From day one?
From day one. They tried to fix it. Well, no, I was able to drive it home from the dealership, but the next day.
From day two.
The next day, I went to the movies with a friend. We're driving along, and it just cut off. In the middle of the road, I could have been killed. I could have killed someone else. Yeah. And I had it towed back to the place, and I believe that they tried diligently to fix it. And clearly it was some wire that wasn't touching something else. And they couldn't fix it. And they said, well, okay, sorry, but keep up the payments. Don't miss a payment. What do you mean don't miss a payment? The car doesn't run. Give me another car, please. And these people laughed in my face. This was 1983, early 84. I was in the military. I'm wearing my uniform. Who should be more societally approved of than me? I'm paying my bills on time. I'm going to school at night. I desperately need this car. I'm working all day as a service person, going to school at night. The school's very far away. And these people say, not our problem, but don't you miss a payment, you're in trouble. And when you're in the military, and this was in a dense military area, these people know that one word to the military hierarchy. And so I went to the military because I bought the car through the Air Force and said, hey, help me, these people. And they said, well, we can't get involved with that. Yes, we will force you to make the payments, but we will not do anything with them. And if you don't keep up the payments, it will negatively affect your performance value. So society is teaming up on me. I went to all these lawyers, and they said, oh, we're not going to take on Chrysler. Sorry, just keep making. And they would all say, make sure you keep making the payments. Right. As if there was some equation between that and my character, Right. And it wasn't like, oh, they'll chew you up and spit you out. It was like, don't you make those payments. So I waged the one lawyer, I just sort of lost in his office. I started crying. I couldn't, it was an entire paycheck went to pay for this car because my mother had talked me into not buying a used car because you buy somebody else's problem. Well, I had my own personal, original problem. So one of the lawyers, when he just saw how upset I was, had a heart. And he said, well, my mother-in-law one time waged a letter writing campaign and got a refund from MasterCard or something. So I didn't know what else to do, so I took 3 days off from work and I waged this letter writing campaign. I wrote to everybody, president, Congress, everybody, hundreds of letters. And that's the only way I was able to get my money back. But if I hadn't had a flexible job that allowed me 3 days off, if I hadn't had a decent education to learn how to research corporate structures and committees, I was completely on my own. Whose side is society on there?
This excerpt is brought to you by the Massachusetts School of Law, the leader of reform in legal education and a leader in multimedia education for the public. To view the full interview and for a full listing of MSL's programs, log on to mslaw.edu.